Last time on the program, the main character and her boyfriend James did more sad and more cuddling. And then Miller, died. What a surprise. We are shocked.
Alright, we're here with chapter 8. We're probably only going to read one chapter. It's really short. Maybe two. They're really short. You can tell that we've got like a young adult book chapters going on. It feels a little bit like that Wattpad sensation we read a while back, because on Wattpad, or with any sort of unplanned serial, oftentimes you see very short chapters because the author is just trying to get it out as often as possible, and so they just bang out really short chapters. Keep moving the camera closer to me, even though I'm sure you are all saying, "No, Julian, we do not want to see that much of your face." Nigel is here. Chapter 8. Okay, so this one says, my brother and I were only 11 months apart, which means that her brother is also pretty young to be friends with James, who, again, to my understanding, unless I'm fucking something up, is considerably older than both of them. Brady had been seeing that girl Dana, but they broke up. That girl Dana. Oh, you know that girl Dana. It's just that girl Dana. So we're finding out how her brother killed himself, and it's I want to say silly, like I feel weird saying a way that a person killed himself is silly, but he is a fictional character, let's remember that, in a contrived scene made up by this lady, Suzanne Young. So, both the main character and James are here when the brother kills himself, and he takes him to like the edge of a cliff overlooking swift running water, and they're like, we're just gonna sunbathe here, but like he's standing at the edge, and I'm just thinking, why isn't there a fence? If suicide is an epidemic, why isn't there a fence by this cliff? So at least it is harder to throw yourself off of it. Like, this world is all like, yeah, suicide is an epidemic, but we're not going to take any precautions except one. We will take one. We will bolt the school windows shut so the kids cannot yeet themselves out the window. End of precautions. The rest of the time, we're either going to let kids kill themselves, or if the kid starts acting in any way odd line, we're going to drag them away to have their memories wiped. This is the world that we are supposed to believe has happened. Our world, the world that you and I and my camera and my cat all are in right now, could transform into this world somehow, and I just don't believe it.
You can't just randomly stab the temporal lobe and hope you hit the right spot.
I'm only gonna take little tiny pieces.
Till what?
Till I find the problem.
Or you kill him.
Nope, I'll keep going even if I kill him.
Now I get it. I get it. We're in a panorama right now, and some people won't even wear a piece of cloth over their face to protect someone else's lives. But like, it's not even that. We're not even really asking anyone else to protect these children. They put up plexiglass, you know, for the cashiers, so like they could put up a fence by a cliff and maybe not let teenagers drive. This is just wild things I'm throwing out here. So we got an epic rescue scene going on when the brother dives into the water. Both the main character and James dive in after him. Main character doesn't swim very well, so she's useless. But James is heroically trying to rescue him, and it's being described, you know, how he's swimming, the rocks are getting slammed into, and then it ends with, but he pulled Brady to shore and started giving him CPR. So like all that good description just like cuts off abruptly and being like, and he pulled him to shore and gave him CPR. Like, no description of that, no description of how he got him to shore, what that struggle was like. Nah. Now, obviously, we as writers do not need to describe every single fucking move a character makes. But in a tense, visceral scene like this, describing more of it is definitely gonna be your friend. Apparently, though, she can see from where she is, clinging to a log upriver, that her brother's neck is broken. She can just tell. We also don't get any of the parents' reaction, because this is a YA book, so parents don't matter. But, like, what were her parents' reaction when she came home and told them, yeah, my brother jumped off a cliff? And their mom is still okay with her going swimming, by the way. She's fine with that. No concerns there. She's like, oh good, yes, go swimming, learn how to swim. And I'm like, okay. But suicide is an epidemic, aren't you worried about your daughter catching suicide and jumping off the same cliff? So they won't let Miller have a funeral because it might spur on more suicides. But they also will let teenagers drive and will not put up a fence by a dangerous jumping cliff.
Well, my days of not taking you seriously are certainly coming to a middle.
I mean, apparently what's the point since any old Joe can get their hands on quick death? So maybe it just doesn't matter. Maybe that's why. They're just like, teenagers are going to find a way to kill themselves. We might as well not even try to prevent it. James has caught the depression real bad, and she's like saying that she's gonna save him. Reminder, she is probably 14, and he is almost 18 because he's a damn time traveler and he went back in time. But he's almost 18, and I just really desperately want to know what happens when you turn 18. Does it just switch off? Alright, I'm going to try to read chapter 9 real fast. Hopefully I won't get too distracted by the idiocy. And once again, just glossing over things that are probably fairly important. She gets an hour of therapy to deal with the loss. And then, but we cut through that. She's just like, I went to therapy and then I went to go get James because therapy in this world is evil. Why would you want therapy? Why would you want somebody to help you? Like, she's not even going to be like, and the therapist sucked. The book is just like, because it's therapy, it automatically sucks. Now, I get that this book was written before, like, therapy is really on the rise right now. Like, I'm eventually gonna get myself a therapist one of these days. You know, it's the goal, it's the dream. It's like all the cool kids have therapists now. And I'm on board with it because, man, we are all mentally pretty fucked up. Back when this book was written, I get it. Therapy wasn't a thing. It was uncool. If you were seeing a therapist, people thought there was something wrong with you. Still, like, in a book about mental illness, kind of, to just gloss over therapy as this useless thing that you're forced to go to is just not a good message to send to your teenage audience. 13, 14, 12-year-olds are reading this, and this is the message you are sending them.
So I'll give it my all with my requisite therapy shawl. Kiss my fancy degrees on the wall.
By the way, I've been calling them the men in the white coats, but they are actually in this world called handlers. When you hit 13, is that when it starts? And then when you hit 18, it just stops? I'm so confused by the rules of this world.
What are the rules?
Uh-oh. She's being detained by a handler. So apparently the handlers have both drugs to knock you out and tasers. But apparently, as we have seen so far, they prefer to just drag you kicking and screaming from the classroom and allow you to bash your head into things. That's just the fun way. If you don't enjoy your work, what is there? I wonder if this handler is gonna, like, reveal something about the world and we can understand that, yeah, shit's, like, weird and maybe there's something in the water or something that's making teenagers want to commit suicide. I'm just hoping that there's, like, some nefarious plot involved here.
Get used to disappointment.
Okay.
So for all of basically 2 pages, this is the shortest interview ever, she gets ominously taken out of class by this cute handler. And then he asks her like 5 questions and like scarily grabs her shoulder for a minute. And then he's done. Nothing lasts, how is this book this thick? Nothing lasts more than like 2 seconds. So James is kind of going full zombie, staring and blank and dead. Like, the depression virus here in this world is a real intense one. And once it gets you, you're just full zombie mode at all times. And then she cuddles up to her zombie boyfriend and she looks across the cafeteria and the handler is watching them and smiling. So he knows that James has the depression virus. I didn't know what I expected. I mean, pretty much this. But still, this world, it just doesn't make any sense. Make it make sense. I'm gonna leave you now, though, because I have things to do tonight. Bye. Hello, and welcome back to Julian's House of Bad Life Choices. We are back with some more The Program. I have iced tea and chips. I don't know why, but I've always been a fan of just, like, tortilla chips, just like salty and crunchy. I don't really like more complicated chips. Is that weird? Does that make me weird? I don't really like Doritos. I like a good Cheeto every now and then, but I eat like 5 of them and I'm done. Just like crunch and salt is all I really require from a chip. We're on chapter 10, but we are concerned because James has caught the depression. They're going camping again. That's safe. Totally fine. No adults have noticed that James has caught the depression because their best friend, their second best friend, they've already lost one best friend and now another best friend has died. Why would any dad notice or care. I mean, come on. Don't be ridiculous. Adults are useless. James is still in full zombie mode. Like, she goes to his house every day and literally tucks him into bed. She could tell his dad, but she will not. Like, maybe there's something that is in the water that's making the teenagers depressed and making the parents completely, like, tuned out. So she's, like, laying with him in the tent, and he's completely catatonic, not responding to her, barely does anything. And so she is trying to, like, guilt him into stopping. She's like, you're not like Brady, you won't quit, you won't leave me by the side of a river wondering why. I mean, I guess that's a strategy. Remember how your best friend, my brother, died in front of you? This is one of our the straight's okay kind of moments. She decides that the thing to do is to try to have sex with him. And so she just starts, you know, kissing down his body, blah, blah. And then he, like, goes for it. And I know I have him back, if only for a second. I don't even have words. I don't have words for the allosexual of this situation. You know, if there's one thing a teenage boy cannot resist no matter how depressed they are, sex. So they have sex, and he's finally, like, happy and being himself. And she brings up Miller right away. Both her and friggin' Layla from The Savior's Sister cannot keep their fucking mouths shut. Gonna kill every single mood that there ever was or ever will be. So surprise, surprise, he's like, I'm gonna kill myself. And she is like, no, don't leave me, blah, blah, blah. And then they go to sleep, and the next morning he wakes up and he's like blank again. Let's just go on to chapter 11. I'm assuming it's going to be short. All these chapters, yeah, are super short. All these chapters are like 5 pages long. Yeah, she's doing James's homework now. Like, she's just completely running his life. And she is a teenager. Possibly 14, probably actually 16, something like that. You are not responsible for your significant other's mental health. I don't understand why James hasn't been flagged and dragged away yet. Maybe the program is also, like, kind of sadistic. Maybe the evil people running the program are just, like, fucking with them. Their school population is getting so small because people keep catching suicide that, like, she gets put in a math class with James when she wasn't before. I'm just like, okay, well, clearly, we are not actually trying to handle this quote-unquote epidemic at all. Some evil person, probably wearing a lab coat, is definitely trying to, like, kill off an entire generation for some reason. It's been 2.5 weeks of James just moping around, and finally the white coats are here to get him. I'm so eager for something to happen in this book that I'm like, yep, cart him away.
To the funny farm, where life is beautiful all the time.
Maybe this will motivate our main character to go full action hero and, like, infiltrate the bad guy's headquarters to free her boyfriend.
Get used to disappointment.
Sloane keeps it together. She cries a single womanly tear that falls into her notebook, but that's it. She is like stone. I don't know why, but we're finding out that James was terrible at math, and I'm like, same. And also, this author is terrible at math. Oh, we're getting a flashback about them falling in love. Now, here's something that I do think is a little bit relatable. Like, there are tiny, tiny moments. Like, this is 2 sentences. I look down at my clothes. I wish there were bloodstains or tears or something to outwardly show how hurt I am, but instead it's a pair of jeans with a pink t-shirt. This is relatable. Those of us who do have, like, mental health issues, sometimes you really do wish that there was some kind of outward sign so people could understand that you're struggling. But there isn't. Like, when you have a cold, you have a clearly runny nose. When you have a flu, you often look sick. But when you have mental illness, it's basically impossible to tell until the mental illness pushes you over your threshold. This is a little tiny itty-bitty glimmer of relatableness. But now we will get back on our bullshit, shall we? So the parents have obviously been brainwashed. I don't know by what. Maybe it's in the water. Maybe it's the same thing. Like, maybe once you turn 18, then you, instead of being suicidal, you just believe that the program is good. Because the parents are like, yeah, the program is good. We're so grateful for it. Said no parent ever. No parent ever is going to be like, thank goodness, my child's mind has been completely wiped and they have no memory of me. Thank goodness. Again, I don't know if this is a precursor to finding out that something is also happening to the adults, or whether this is just completely pandering to the teenage audience for this book. I can't believe they don't understand. I wonder if it's because adults would rather forget about their problems. The thought of ignorance is bliss. I can tell you, I have been an adult. That is not what it is like. We are better at hiding our problems, but that's it. Now she's getting in a shouting match with her mom. Her mom is like, you know, getting your brain completely wiped is better than killing yourself. Well, yes, but getting appropriate help is better than killing yourself. Why have we gotten to the point of, well, we just have to wipe their entire memory? I find it weird. She's like, they're gonna take my memories. I won't remember going to the river. I love the river because that's where James first kissed me. And I'm like, also that's where your brother killed himself, so I'm kind of confused why you love the river. So she finally is like, I hate you, Mom and Dad. And she is like, and I hate myself more. And she like runs out of the house. That's a surefire way to get your parents to call the men in their white coats on you, especially since the mom is like 100% on board for this whole brainwashing thing. I feel like I don't have as many funny things to say, but maybe future me is finding good clips to put in here. Guess we'll find out.
Get used to disappointment.
All right. We're back. We're on to chapter 12. The main character's boyfriend has now been taken away, and we all know that he was the only person of value in her life anymore, and also she has absolutely no outside interest besides boyfriend. So she goes out to a field to have a cry and remember her boyfriend. She even talks about driving too fast, not caring if I crash, almost hoping I do. Why are they letting teenagers drive? I mean, unless it's all part of the evil conspiracy to kill off an entire generation of teenagers, which I'm waiting to find out that is what's happening. But why has no one else thought about this? She goes to stand where her brother died, where there is still not a fence. Teenager jumped to his death. Still no fence. Apparently, some news program tried to do like an expose on the program, and they found like overuse of pills, patients being tied down, but like apparently that was all overshadowed by the fact that the program works, even though, you know, it leaves people blank with no memories. But yes, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine. It's fine. They're fine. Everyone's fine. Apparently though, when they turn 18, they disappear off the government radar. You just disappear when you turn 18, like the government no longer knows where you are. Boy, a lot of people are really worried about microchips and vaccines for no reason. When you turn 18, you just vanish. So she also yeets herself off of the same cliff. Apparently, though, our main character has not caught the suicide because she fights to live. She hits the water and realizes, I don't want to die. So apparently the suicide virus has not found her yet. There's a lot of filtering going on in this book. We've talked about that before. My eyes feel swollen and raw. Get rid of feel. My eyes are swollen and raw. I don't know what time of year it is. I thought it was warmer. I actually don't remember if they told me where they live. But I thought it was warmer. But now she's talking about like cranking the heat, and she was blasting the heat before, so I'm not sure. But they must be in a warmer climate, because if they were in Wisconsin, you would know it would be snow everywhere. And you could not jump into a river and then, like, hang there. She hangs on a rock for, like, hours and then finally decides to fucking leave. You couldn't do that in a river in Wisconsin in winter. You would be dead. James is not like other boys. And James isn't like other people. He's smart, resourceful. What if he doesn't get hollowed out? What if he comes back and remembers me? I don't know. The love between you two teenagers is so strong that it will certainly overcome whatever programming the program has for you. The only teenage relationship that I will accept as epic and spanning years and continents is this one.
I thought our story was epic, you know? You and me.
Epic how?
Spanning years and continents, lives ruined, bloodshed. Epic.
That's it. The end of list. Her dad is actually waiting for her and is concerned for the first time ever. This girl is late, this girl goes missing, this girl skips class on the regular, and this is the first time one of her parents is like, maybe we should be concerned. It's fine, it's not like suicide is an epidemic or anything. It's weird to me that the parents, because of course she makes the excuse, oh, I was just trying to learn to swim, and the current was too strong, whatever. The parents, A, believe that. And B, it's weird that these parents whose son committed suicide by diving into a river are very keen on their daughter going into a river. It wasn't his lack of ability to swim that killed Brady. The parents have called the police, again, for the first time, her parents don't feel like parents. It's really weird. Like, Suzanne, did you not have parents? I mean, maybe Suzanne's parents weren't good ones, but like these ones, they seem very like clueless. Like they seem like also teenagers who don't really know what to do. If I showed up with a broken arm, my parents wouldn't just be like standing there chatting with me. They'd be like, okay, get in the car, we're going to the emergency room. And these guys are like, we should probably get you to the emergency room for that arm.
We've tried nothing and we're all out of ideas.
Apparently, after her brother died, her mom got really angry and her dad started drinking too much. And like, those are cool and interesting dynamics that we could explore, but we're not going to. Her dad's like, Sloane, I know this isn't because you were trying to learn to swim. I know you attempted it. I will call the program, tell me like that I don't know what he wants from her. I need to know right now if you're going to do it. She just tried and you told her that you know she tried. But she's like, it's okay, Dad, I couldn't go through with it. And he's like, cool, fine, that's good. It's like 3 sentences and they're like over it and moving on. So she goes to the hospital and they totally believe her when she says she was trying to learn to swim, even though she's wearing the wet clothes. Like, she didn't get out a bathing suit for this. She just dove in wearing her clothes. And wouldn't this hospital, who presumably has ties to the program, be like, wait, this child is fully dressed, her clothes are still damp, she's got a broken arm. Maybe she was trying to do something. Like, is this world in a constant state of looking for kids about to commit suicide, or is it not?
The broken arm never comes up again, by the way. The reader and the author immediately forget that she broke her arm. I don't know why she even did it.
She decides to go, like, volunteer at the wellness center, which I think is, like, the place where the people who've been through the program recover. But I didn't know you could just do that. Our main character is also not like other girls, and she goes up to a group of girls. They keep talking, gossiping about boys, clothes, and stuff that I can't even fathom caring about. Well, aren't you special? You don't care about things. She doesn't. She doesn't care about anything. She cares about nothing except her boyfriend. And then she leaves. So that was an exciting scene. I'm glad we went there so she could judge a group of girls. We're told that she sits and talks with them for a while and then she leaves. I don't know why none of these people are like, okay, it sucks, but I'm gonna have to start over from scratch. They hang all of their hopes on their significant other being the one who remembers them. There's that uncomfortably numb again, my goodness. This author was incredibly proud of that, I feel. She was like comfortably numb, like the song, except for she's uncomfortably numb. I'm a genius.
Hello, is there anybody in there?
Okay, yeah, it was just basically to set up that she has been going to the center. Okay, here's James at last. Here he is, and he's like, he has his head shaved, and they erased his tattoos off his arm, so he's a blank slate. She says, this is the only reason I didn't die. This moment kept me going. So fuck her parents, fuck anyone else in her life. She survived that river for James and James alone. Unhealthy relationship dynamics, the book. And of course, she gets his attention and he doesn't recognize her. No one is surprised. So we get a flashback to when she and James had her first kiss. Apparently, little Sloane kisses so good that James swears off ever kissing anyone else because he's kissed her. He's decided he wants to kiss no one but her for the rest of his life. Teenagers, man. Why? She gives up. She gives up because he doesn't recognize her, because of course he doesn't. And it does not even enter her mind, at least not yet, that she could start from scratch. That she could just get to know him. She's already been going to the wellness center. Everyone's used to her there. But she's like, no, he's going to meet another girl and I have no chance. And it's like, why though? Why though? Why can't you be the girl that he meets and he falls in love with you all over again? I don't understand.
You know what this means, right? We get to become best friends all over again!
Alright, so she is just very, very sad and angry, and depression has got her. But that's the end of that chapter. Am I the only one asking the big questions? As usual, of course I am. I'll see you guys for the next chapter.
Quick, let me explain. No, it's too much. Let me sum up. These are my patrons: Belle, Anne Sophie, Callison, Ray, Artemis, Shelby, Zaire, Jesper, Irene, Scribbling Cat, Savvy, Jenny, Amanda, Lisa, Sarah, Anna W, Anna C, Light Julie, OS, Hidden Glade, Persephone, Kit, Lennox, and Rainfall. Whew, I hope you were paying attention. Those are some awesome patrons you just heard about.
Who are you?
No one of consequence.
I must know.
Get used to disappointment.
Okay.